Olá pessoal, tudo bem com vocês? Aqui quem fala é o Dante, você está no canal Devicious. E hoje, caras, vamos continuar a nossa série de Tales of Arise. Agora que finalmente encontramos a nave que trouxe o Alphen para Dana, depois dos experimentos lá do Soberano. E agora, cara, parece que estamos num ponto em que eles vão seguir para lá, de qualquer maneira. Eles vão fazer alguns preparativos e seguir em direção da sua missão, que é ir para Lenegis e acabar com essa ameaça aqui em Dana. Porém, eu ganhei uma chave do último chefe, que por sinal era épico demais. Só achei que o chefe foi mal aproveitado, mas o chefe era muito épico, né? E nós vamos continuar, espero que vocês possam continuar apoiando, deixando aquele joinha logo no início do vídeo. Vocês têm sido muito legais e tem deixado mais de 40 gostei nos vídeos. Eu continuo pedindo aí, bora bater 40 gostei nesse vídeo, que eu sei que você consegue. Se inscreva e ative o sininho, dessa maneira você não perde nenhum conteúdo. Se você tem condições de se tornar membro, assim como essa galera aqui, ó, ajuda demais a manter o canal sempre na ativa e trazendo conteúdo de qualidade para vocês. Se for novo por aqui, seja muito bem-vindo à comunidade, quem gosta de RPG, para quem curte uma boa história. Eu vi que nós ganhamos uma chave na última batalha. Então, caras, nós vamos para guarnição. Tinha uma porta aqui fechada, cara. Caverna, trincheira, penhasco, castelo Gladimedes. Não, trincheiras, portões do castelo. Vamos vir pra cá? Porque eu me lembro que aqui tinha uma porta trancada. E eu tô com uma chave aqui, caras. Caras, eu tinha falado pra vocês até da minha intenção de, quem sabe, comprar as skins do jogo, né? Cara, mas eu vi 70 e poucos reais pra te comprar. Então, tem uma coruja por aqui, cara, em algum canto. O bicho vai entrar aqui não, né? Entrou, não acredito. O negócio é que eu vou ter que entrar em tela por tela, cara, pra encontrar os bichos, as corujas que estão espalhadas aqui, que tem partes do início que eu não peguei, né? Ó. Ó lá. Iniciar missão entrando na gruta. Será uma porta que quer priorizar a exibição dessa missão? Essa porta aqui, ó. Ó, usar a chave secreta. É essa chave, entendeu? Finalmente. Agora, onde é que tá a corujinha que tá nessa área? Tem uma coruja perdida por aqui. Agora, onde é que ela tá? Onde é que tá a coruja dessa área aqui? Tem que encontrar. Vambora, a gente só... Agora eu vou encontrar ela. Não dá pra subir? Nossa. Acostumado a subir pelas ravinas, pô. Vamos ver se eu encontro essa coruja que tá aqui perdida, cara. O negócio é que eu estou sem... Eu espero que não seja uma missão de porradaria, porque senão eu tô lascado, cara. Tem uma coruja perdida por aqui. Aonde? Onde está essa coruja? Aqui foi onde a gente encontrou a... E agora? Onde é que ela está? Como é que eu vou localizar essa coruja, filha da mãe? Ela tá em algum canto por aqui escondida. Agora aonde, meus amigos? Nessa parte do início deve ter ficado coruja da com pau perdida aí, cara. Agora, aonde ela está? Aí até no meio dessas casas aqui, alguma coisa assim. Não. Caramba. Onde é que tá essa filha da mãe, hein? Onde é que você está? Corujinha. Ela tem que estar nessa área aqui, cara. Não pode estar... Ela tem que estar nessa área aqui, ela não pode estar fora daqui. Eu vou lá ver naquela porta, vai, né? Vai que... Ela não tá aqui não, cara. Eu não estou vendo ela. Vocês viram ela? Porque eu não vi. Vou entrar naquela porta ali, vamos ver o que que tem. O que será que é aqui, cara? Essa porta aqui eu tinha visto no início do jogo e a gente ganhou um... O que é isso? Algum tipo de banheiro? Uma sala de tesouro, parece coisa que o Balzef construiria. Nossa, um monte de item aí. Valeu a pena, hein? O que é isso? Acho que é linguiça. Ah, não, é salsicha. Sarah, você pode preparar alguma comida com esses ingredientes? Claro, posso fazer, mas... tarde. Agora! Tá. Olha lá, chegadinha na salsicha. Bem, alguém andou vivendo na bonança. Não acredito que o Balzef estava escondendo uma coisa tão gostosa. Que desprezível. Mais um motivo pra gente mudar as coisas. Enfim, vamos abrir aqui pra todo mundo. Acho que nunca vi a Shionne tão determinada. Mas não é ruim, né? Mesmo que seja por causa de comida. Recompensas de conclusão, 3.400 Gauds. E tem mais coisa aqui, hein? Carne suína, carne ovina. O que é isso aqui? Elixir ômegas. Vestido de bruxa. Vestido usado por bruxas que viviam em outra região. Dizem que ele transmite a energia astral com tanta força que até dá pra ver. Capa real. Capa polar entre a nobreza renana. Feita com a tecnologia mais recente, sua durabilidade não deixa nada a desejar. Cara, onde é que tá essa coruja, cara? Quem sabe ela tá aqui dentro. Mas não parece, cara. Eu já teria ouvido ela... aquele barulho dela estranho. Deixa eu equipar aqui. Veio uma... de bruxa. Capa real, ó. Armadura boa pra ele. Vestido de bruxa. Nossa, é armadura secreta mesmo, hein? A quantidade de coisa que aumentou. Caras, tá aqui essa porcaria dessa coruja. Ó. Não tá, não. Tá lá na outra tela. Tá nessa tela aqui, ó. Não entendi. Agora a coruja não apareceu. Ou tá na outra tela ali, então. Agora confundiu minha cabeça. Ah, tá aqui, ó. Tá por aqui. Eu vou ter que olhar tela por tela, cara, até encontrar essas corujas. O pior que o cara bota uma DLC paga de 70 e poucos reais por causa de algumas roupas, cara. Triste games, hein? Onde é que tá essa coruja? Essa filha da mãe, hein? Cadê tu, corujinha? Cadê tu? Escondidinha legal, hein? Carambas. Onde é que ela tá, cara? Tá em algum canto por aqui, mas aonde? Deve estar mais pra lá, não é possível, cara. Cadê tu, cara? Ela tá muito bem escondida, cara, porque nem barulho ela faz, cara. Tá aparecendo no mapa, só que eu alcanço ela. Tá aqui dentro dessa casa. Eu já peguei ela. Mas não faz sentido. Por que o Hutton ainda tá... Por que o Huro ainda tá dizendo que ela tá por aqui? Não faz sentido, cara. O Huro ainda tá dizendo que ela tá aqui. Não entendi, cara. Eu já peguei essa aqui, então. Agora eu tô bugado. Minha cabeça bugou toda agora. Eu já peguei essa coruja. Mas o Huro continua dizendo que ela tá por aqui. E aí? O que eu faço? Deve ter mais uma, então, escondida aqui. Ele não ia tá piando se não tivesse. Cara, vou dar uma olhada aqui e volto pra vocês. Aham, tá ali o filho da mãe, ó. Olha só onde é que tá. Tá nos portões de fogo aqui, ó. Tava no portões do castelo, aqui é portões de fogo. Tá aqui, ó, filha da mãe, ó. Olha lá. Bandagem. Tá bem escondidinho, hein, filha da mãe. Teve que dar uma bisoiada pra encontrar esse filho da mãe aí escondidinho. Beleza. Beleza, pessoal. Aparentemente eu encontrei todas as corujas, tá? 32 que você encontra na primeira gameplay aí. Depois que quiser aparecem mais 6, pelo que eu andei lendo. Eu tive que procurar pra encontrar essa última filha da mãe aí. Aí. Ó. Ó, olheiro de corujas. Encontrei todas. O que ele vai me dar agora? Tiara verdejante. Tiara antiquada feita em Lenegis. A forte tonalidade verde faz com que ela combine bem com uma armadura de gala exuberante. Tiara azul piscina. Tiara antiquada feita em Lenegis, combinada com uma armadura de gala, transmite um ar gracioso. Tiara violeta. Tiara antiquada feita em Lenegis, o matiz violeta escuro faz com que tenha um aspecto especialmente marcante. Boneca da Rainha Coruja. Boneca intricada, inspirada na Rainha Coruja. Segundo a opinião da modelo, jamais chegará aos pés do esplendor da versão de pena e osso.
Well, most of the perches are filled up now. Frankly, I'm amazed there's so many of these guys.
What cautious lives they must have lived. They deserve credit for their vitality.
They're all so lovely individually, but I think they look downright awe-inspiring. And so many of them are gathered together in one place.
I don't know. It's hard to relax with all of them eyeballing us at once.
Yeah, I guess owls do seem to stare.
You've done well.
He's at it again.
Come on, you know you like it.
Frankly, I never thought you'd gather so many of us.
You are so quick to rescue those in need. You have given us a big, happy family.
We're on the brink of extinction. We must work together if we are to change our fate.
You carry a heavy burden.
Don't you worry. We can change fate. You won't be alone. I promise.
This isn't just your fight. I'm here for you too. I want us both to be together.
That was you interpreting for the owls.
Of course.
It's nice to see everyone getting along, but perhaps we should be moving on.
Just who was that conversation between?
Try not to think about it too much. Besides, there's still a few empty perches left.
We've come this far. Why stop now, right?
Hey, Hoodle. Once we've managed to gather all the owls, after that... Huh?
Certo. Aparentemente, eram 32, mas depois aparecem mais 6, depois que quiser. Então a gente não vai conseguir completar isso agora, tá? Tá, vamos ver aqui. Ó, já a missão daqui já sumiu, meio que sumiu daqui. Agora nós vamos voltar lá para aquele lugar que a gente tava lá. Vulcão do Berg. Área externa, volta pra cá. Nós vamos cozinhar de novo, porque eu não quero perder as nossas vantagens. Vem pra cá. Corre, Berg. Não dá não. Tá, vamos ver o que vai acontecer. Tem a nave aqui e tem lá uma missãozinha aqui. Vamos ver o que acontece, né? Acampamento.
funny, isn't it?
What is?
All this. When we first started this thing, did you ever imagine we'd be going to Lenegis? After all, this is the sort of thing I was rebelling against when I ran away from home, right?
I'm sure Zephyr would be proud if he knew what his son was doing right now.
And a little shocked, too.
We're defying the order of things that have persisted for 300 years. Deep down, I knew our journey would lead to confronting Lenegis.
Yeah, you maybe, but you're a Renin. The rest of us can barely even picture what it means to leave Dana.
No offense to Shionne and Dohalim, but it's worth remembering we're heading into enemy territory.
No offense taken, and this is no picnic for me either.
Remember, our aim is to ensure that both Lenegis and the Renin homeworld leave Dana alone for good. I don't think we'll be able to avoid a fight.
Is there no way we can talk them into leaving us alone?
The people of Lenegis?
Sure. I mean, we found a way to make it work with Shionne and Dohalim, right? And it's not just us. If places like Menancia can do it, then why can't we?
Because there are still many of my kind who believe it was right and natural that Rena reigns over Dana. There are those on Lenegis who have never stepped foot on Dana. I doubt whether they'd even listen to Danans.
Look, none of us want to fight. But these are the same people who fired that wedge down on Dana. What happens next is on them.
Right. We're not going to sit back and wait for them to oppress us again.
Right.
Don't forget, there's also a good chance the Red Woman is somewhere on Lenegis. And wherever she is, we should find the Renaissance too.
That's right. If we can take it back, then Shionne can finally get rid of her thorns. Shionne?
Huh? Yeah.
Dormindo sentado, que agradável.
Where? Shionne?
Formações de membro do grupo, o grupo se separou.
Where'd Shionne go? How could she just go off on her own?
Shionne meteu o pé e foi ali pra nave, rapaz.
Shionne. Shionne! It's your thorns? But why? You okay? Just now, it looked like you used your maiden powers to suppress your thorns. You can really do that?
Stay out of my way.
Wait a second. Are you planning to go alone?
Shut up!
Why would you do this?
I told you to shut up!
Esqueci.
I won't let you.
I mean it.
I refuse to let you.
I won't tell you again. Move or I'll shoot.
If that's the case, then go ahead and shoot me!
que deu aí nessa guria? Essa guria tá muito louca, rapaz.
Do you remember back when I was stabbed by Volron?
Yeah. I thought for sure that he had killed you back there.
That wasn't the first time. The first time was when I was only a child. After that, no matter how often, I just couldn't die.
Couldn't die? So you're immortal? How's that even...
I believe you, Shionne. But tell me how is something like that possible?
My thorns. They're me, but at the same time not. They're part of me. I have no idea why, but my thorns will never let me die. At least not before I'm meant to.
You can't die before your death?
When my thorns free themselves, it will be my death. I've seen it. A darkness that swallows up everything until nothing remains. It's a vision of oblivion I can't escape. I want to believe it's all just a bad dream. But no matter what I tell myself, I know it's not.
Yeah, but you... Wait. The whole reason you needed the Renaissance was to get rid of your thorns, right?
If I burn away what's inside, then what will happen to the rest of me? Right. Either way you look at it, I'm going to die. But if I am going to die, I figure I can at least take my thorns out with me. That's what I've been after this whole time.
That's why you turned your back on your fellow Renans and chose to fight with us, isn't it? And while we've all been fighting to keep on living, you have been with us fighting desperately to die.
That was the plan. But then I met all of you. And before I knew it, I didn't want to die anymore.
Shionne, don't lose hope yet. We'll find a way to save you. There's still time to.
It's pointless.
Why?
Because the darkness won't just consume me. The truth is, it will consume all of existence as well. It was only a suspicion at first, but ever since the Red Woman triggered my maiden powers, I've been more certain than ever before. It was then that I finally came to realize my powers were holding my thorns in check the entire time. But they don't anymore. Not since Lenegis, when the wedge fell. Every day, I feel the thorn's power growing stronger inside of me. Pretty soon, I won't be able to hold them back anymore. And when that happens,
They will consume all existence.
And that's why you wanted to leave by yourself. You planned to find the Renaissance on your own and sacrifice yourself to stop the thorns.
But that's... too much. It's way too much.
when this all began, I didn't care what happened to me or anyone else. And what happened to the Renans or the Danans didn't matter to me at all. I know I have to die, but I don't want to. Not now that I have this. I wish we had never met. Then I wouldn't have to feel this way.
Shionne!
I'll
dying is no better than being a slave. How can you endure this?
Alvin.
It's not fair. I don't care what anybody says. I won't let it happen. We can fight this. Fight until the end together. Isn't that what you said to me before?
Even if it should mean that it'll be the end of everything else too?
Shionne, what do you want? It's your decision ultimately. But if you decide not to fight fate, I will. Even if I have to do it alone.
No, you won't be alone. I'll fight as well.
Count me in as well. I want to be a force for good, not hate.
And me too. I meant it with all of my heart when I told you before. Neither of you are alone in this at all.
You guys.
And I, for one, don't believe this venture is without hope.
Huh?
Shionne is the descendant of a maiden from 300 years ago. Given the circumstances, it seems very likely that those events have something...
Ah, não! Não! Essa música não! Não, 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 não! Não, sai falar com essa música! Não, não! Não vem com essa música, não! Tá tocando ainda? Não, vai dormir, cara! Negativa essa música. Ah, cara, desculpa, mas essa música não dá. Essa música é flag na hora, cara. Não tem como. Infelizmente vocês vão ficar com a minha música. Já acabou a música? Ah, vá dormir. Shionne. A gente tá aqui com você. Todo mundo. Você não tá sozinha. Acabou a música já? Ah! Para com essa música, cara. Vocês são tão teimosos. Não dá, não dá, não dá. Se eu botar a música aí, lasca, caras. Ah! Não, não dá não, não. Obrigada, pessoal. Acabou com a história toda. Por que bota essa música, cara? Pelo menos por agora, e mais um pouquinho, só quero que você se agarre a esse sonho. Sobretudo, mais que qualquer outra coisa, eu quero estar com todos vocês. Ainda tá com a música, ainda não dá. Então vamos lá, pra Lenegis. Bora, querido! Ah, dormi com essa música. Acabou. Eu, hein? Cara, essa música não dá pra botar nem um segundo dela. É capaz de dar ruim. Converse com o resto do grupo.
The end of the world. It's hard to believe, isn't it?
I believe Shionne is telling the truth. What about you?
As a friend, yes, I want to believe her. Everything that's happened seems to point towards some sort of great danger that's lurking ahead of us. Still, it's hard to fathom something that could usher outright doom to the world. That those really are the stakes we face.
No, I understand. Even Shionne doesn't seem to know exactly what will happen to bring it all about.
We have so many pieces of the puzzle in our hands, so many clues, yet the complete picture eludes us.
So where do her thorns fit in then?
Well, I imagine they must sit at the very center of it all. You remember the voice we all heard while we were inside the wedge, don't you?
Yeah, I remember. It was the will of Dana's astral energy come to life. Or that's what we all thought.
Right. And from that, we're able to hypothesize how vast concentrations of astral energy can become sentient. Let's return to when we found Shionne in Pelegion. When her thorns went wild, they contained far more astral energy than any mere Renin would normally have inside them.
So you think those thorns might be alive too? That their will is what keeps her from dying? But why would they want to destroy the entire world?
As for that, I really cannot say for certain. Its goals still remain a mystery. It may be a mere fluke that her maiden powers have been able to contain it thus far.
You know, I've noticed since we've met that you like figuring out riddles.
Can you blame me? When one realizes that the world they once thought to be true is but a mere facade, they can't help but seek the truth. Especially when that deception has led to others getting hurt.
Dohalim?
I imagine the remaining pieces of the puzzle that we seek rest somewhere within Lenegis. As for what the final picture will look like, who can say? I think it's best we not dwell on it too much for the time being.
Right.
Certo. Tem que falar com a galerinha aqui. Bora. E aí, Xara?
Who, me?
Yes, you. You took a hit from those thorns again, didn't you?
Oh, that? That was nothing.
Compared to what Shionne's going through, you mean? Still, even if you yourself might be willing to endure that kind of pain, that doesn't mean Shionne wants to have to see you get hurt by her thorns, you know?
Yeah, I know. I'll be careful.
Shionne doesn't know how lucky she is to have you around, you know? Dashing in to save her at the last minute.
Yeah, very funny.
I'm being serious. You went up and held her close like you still had that mask on, and you didn't even bat an eye. She really needed that. That's what I mean when I said you saved her. Just like you did with the rest of us.
I just want for Shionne what we all have. The ability to touch someone without the fear of killing them. Those thorns have robbed her of the kind of everyday things we all take for granted. And it's not right.
You can say that again. It may be normal for us, but that doesn't make it any less special or important for her. I hope she gets what she wants. I have my own dreams, but a world without her, where she dies so we can all survive, isn't a world I want to live in.
Agreed. It's like more and more keeps getting taken from her, and I'm done with it.
Certo. Falar com um cara estiloso aqui, ó.
Did you know?
You mean about Shionne?
Yeah, I didn't have the slightest idea. I mean, every once in a while I thought something seemed a little off, but I never could have imagined. It's like a completely different world was spinning around me and I couldn't even see it.
You and me both. I mean, I knew something was bothering her, but I could never quite figure out what it was.
You? But you're the one always looking out for her, aren't you?
That's what I thought. But in reality, I didn't understand it all. What I thought was helping and being there for her was actually just driving her into a corner.
At least you figured it out in time, though, right?
I don't think we're out of the woods yet. But yeah, you're right. We brought her back from the edge, and we're going to stop those thorns from taking her. No matter what.
Yeah, with all of us together, there's nothing we can't handle. Shionne, the world, we can save everyone. And I mean it when I say we, Alphen.
I know. No lone wolfing it.
Hey, you're the expert on what my dad would say. Do you think he'd pat me on the back or tell me off?
Zephyr, I don't think that he'd have that much to say, to be honest. You're your own man now, Law. And you've already made up your own mind about what you want.
I guess he couldn't say anything even if he wanted to.
Law.
Sorry. I guess those of us amongst the living have enough problems to deal with, don't we? We'll need all our strength to save Shionne. I'll probably end up worrying again at some point, but I guess I'll think it over more then. That okay?
Yeah, I think it is.
Certo. Tem lá a menininha. Vamos falar com ela agora.
Sleep.
Tá com insônia?
After everything we just heard, how could I?
Fair enough.
Shionne's had to deal with so much on her own. Even when we were all laughing and celebrating, she just kept quiet and didn't say anything. I thought she was keeping her distance because of her thorns. That it was because she didn't want to hurt anybody by getting too close. I just figured that that was the type of person she was, you know? But it turned out to be none of that. All this time, she felt like she had to die and sacrifice herself for the greater good. But even then, she didn't think she could say anything to us about it.
I know.
She was so alone this entire time. How could I call her a friend and yet be so completely blind to everything she was going through?
I'm sure it made her happy, knowing you were there for her.
You really think so?
Yeah, I do. If she didn't think of us as friends, I don't think she could have ever opened up to us like that. You were a good friend to her before, and you'll be an even better one now.
Yeah, I really hope so. I want to be the best I can for her. When you think about it, we were all alone in our own way. But over time, we've all found ways to let each other into our lives. I hope Shionne's able to do that one day too. No, I mean, I hope she's able to do that more. Lots and lots more. I think it'd be really nice if we could all just be there to support each other when it really counts. And forget about our grudges and pain.
Rinwell.
Uma parte com bastante diálogo antes de partir para Lenegis. Tem mais uma falinha ali. É fala, hein? Agora falta só ela. Vamos lá. Beijinho agora? Será que vai rolar a bitoquinha?
Hey, you doing all right?
I seem to cause nothing but worry. As much as I try to look like I have things under control, everyone still worries about me.
You're not the only one.
Hey, do you remember the first time you said I was your friend?
No? When was that? Sorry, I can't remember.
That's okay. It came so naturally to you, I'm not surprised you forgot. I was different back then. The Danans were not even people to me, and I knew I would always be alone. But in that room with Deadime, when you called me your friend, it just shattered the wall that I'd built up around me. Because until that moment, I'd only seen you as a means to an end. I thought of you as a way to use the blazing sword, and to obtain the Renis Alma. But after that day, one time became two, and before I knew it, you'd made a habit of calling me and Dohalim your friends. It didn't matter that we were Renans. You cared about us as you would any other people. Then, everyone else started to call me their friend too. To think of me as their friend. Before then, I never even dreamed I could have that. I didn't want to die and lose you all. But I also didn't want to live if it meant you would all die in my place.
Shionne.
But then I realized I'd only really been thinking of myself that entire time. After saying how I felt, and hearing what you all had to say, I finally understood that. Don't worry, it's okay. I'm not planning on dying anymore. I've met too many people along the way who I truly care about to give in now. So I'll fight. For Dana and for myself. I'll fight against my fate to preserve our future. And I'll win, come hell or high water. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I won't let the world end because of me.
It's going to be a long, hard road ahead, Shionne. Our fight won't be over until everyone, both Danans and Renans, can finally live in peace. But I swear I'll be there with you until the very end.
Thank you.
Remember what we learned back in Calaglia? There's no wall so high that we can't break it down.
Yeah, I think you may be right about that.
Os membros que saíram retornaram ao grupo.
Everyone well rested? Then let's go.
Vamos descansar. Vamos fazer uma receitinha maluca, certo? Pra gente seguir.
Hã?
Descansar. Quer cozinhar. Aumento de ataque. Mas eu quero o negócio da experiência.
This looks perfect. Guaranteed to hit the spot.
E lá era o que faltava. Mais um aí.
Hey, Alphen,
What's up, Law?
you ever find yourself just wanting to give Rinwell a pat on the back?
Law?
Not in a weird way. I'm just saying, she may be sassy, but she's also trying really hard, you know? And sometimes, when I see how hard she's working, I just wanna walk up and encourage her. Is that weird?
No, I can see why you might feel that way. After all, she is kind of like a little sister to everyone at this point.
Right, exactly! But I'm worried if I do it the wrong way, she'll blast me with her magic. Or if not her magic, she'll sick Hootle on me to peck my eyes out.
Yeah, there's not much you can do if she's not feeling up for it. In fact, you're not the only one struggling to close that gap.
Huh? Has Hootle attacked you too?
No, I just mean because of her thorns.
Thorns? I don't remember Rinwell having any magic like that. That sounds more like Shionne than... Huh?
Anyway, Hoodle's probably just worried that you're going to take Rinwell away from him. He's pretty protective after all. Maybe your first step should be to make friends with him and go from there.
Right. That's a good idea, Alphen. I'll be sure to give that a try.
Thank goodness for Law's thick skull.
Que bom que o Ló é meio tapado.
Tomorrow, too.
Que bom que o Ló é meio tapado. Ai, ai, ai. Que bom que o Ló é meio tapado.
I always do.
Ó, não fala do cara estiloso aí, cara. Tu não pode falar assim dele. Que bom que o cara é meio tapado. Putz, grila. Olha o que ele fala do Lau, cara.
Well, it's the moment of truth.
This lady better hold together once we're up in the air.
Law, don't say that. You're going to jinx us.
Speaking of which, Alphen, this bucket of bolts got a name?
A name? You know, I'm not sure she ever had one. I never really thought about it.
Well, after all the trouble we went through to find her, we should give her one, right? I was thinking something like...
Fall Knights.
Huh?
It means owl in the ancient tongue. Literally, the one drawn to the skies.
Viciado em coruja esse jogo?
Sounds perfect for our little escapade.
Not sure I'm completely convinced, but... Well, it's as good a name as any. From now on, she'll be known as the Fall Knights.
Okay, people. We have two goals. First, we need to get to Lenegis and make the Renans finally leave Dana alone. And then, we need to figure out the truth behind Shionne's thorns and find a way to save her. Sound good? All right. Then let's go.
Eu espero que dê pra voltar, cara. Senão ferrou muito. Opa, dando uma limpadinha legal, hein? Ao infinito e além!
know, I can still hardly believe it.
Believe what?
I mean, just look at it. The whole of existence, crammed inside a tiny frame.
Now that you mention it, I guess you're right. It does look more like a painting than a living, breathing world.
From up here, all the struggles we've been through feel so insignificant.
Nothing like realizing how small you are to put everything into perspective. Kinda makes the differences between the Renans and the Danans feel pretty small too, huh?
How much longer until we reach Lenegis?
There are better ways to use your time than napping. We should take a moment to familiarize ourselves with the facilities on board before arrival.
Good idea. The starship may end up serving as our base of operations once we're down there. Think you'll be all right with the controls?
You mean the one set to automatic pilot? I dare say I'll manage. I'm basically just here to supervise.
In that case, she's all yours.
Everything okay, Shionne? You seem a little different.
Different? Like in a bad way different?
No, not at all. You seem more driven lately, like you found a zest for life. It suits you.
Caras, tem mais uma rodada aí de conversar aí com a galera, caras. A gente vai terminar esse episódio por aqui. No próximo a gente começa aí com as conversas de volta. Beleza? Nós vamos terminando por aqui. Ao infinito e além! Olha só, no próximo episódio nós vamos continuar então. Eu espero que vocês tenham curtido. Se curtiu aí, deixa o gostinho pra apoiar, se inscreva, ative o sininho. E nos vemos então no próximo episódio de Tales of Arise. Falou!